You've seen this movie before. A revolutionary battery headline drops. Twitter explodes. 6 months later, nothing changes. Same range, same prices, same cars. So when you hear people asking, is Tesla finally about to drop a real battery breakthrough? The honest answer is yes and no. And that contradiction is where this story actually starts. Because what you think a battery revolution looks like is not what actually changes the world. And if you want to understand where electric cars are really headed, you need to see past the hype right now. Quick favor before we go further. If you want to stay ahead of where EVs are actually going, not where headlines pretend they are, like and subscribe. Here's the truth nobody spells out. Tesla didn't build a miracle battery. They built a stack, a manufacturing stack, a design stack, a system stack. No magical new element, no sci-fi chemistry. Number 1, 0 mile range tomorrow fantasy. Instead, Tesla attacked the boring parts, the parts that actually decide who wins. Cell size, electrical flow, electrode manufacturing, pack integration, and total control over how it all comes together. That's the real revolution. And it starts with a number you've probably heard but never really understood. That number isn't hype, it's geometry. And geometry changes everything. Tesla didn't just make a bigger cell size. They redesigned how electricity moves inside it. They removed bottlenecks that waste energy as heat. They reduced how much metal, welding, and dead weight surrounds every unit of energy. But here's the part nobody focuses on. The cell itself isn't the weapon. Manufacturing is. Because batteries don't win by existing. They win by being built over and over cheaply, consistently, at massive scale. That's why all those viral battery breakthroughs die quietly. They work in a lab, they fail in a factory. Tesla understood this years ago. That's why Battery Day wasn't about chemistry headlines. It was about process, about stacking dozens of small improvements until the result looks impossible from the outside. Bigger cylindrical cells. A tabless design that spreads current instead of choking it. Battery packs that are the structure of the car. And then this is the critical part. They went after the most painful step in battery production: electrode coating. Traditional batteries use wet chemical slurries, huge ovens, massive energy waste, slow throughput. Tesla wants to delete that entire step. Dry electrodes, no ovens, smaller factories, lower cost per kilowatt hour. If that scales, it doesn't just improve batteries, it rewrites the economics of electric cars. And Tesla isn't guessing anymore. They've already produced over 100 million of these 4,680 cells. Not prototypes, not lab samples. Real production. That matters because once manufacturing learning curves kick in, cost falls fast. And cost, not range, is what unlocks mass adoption. Now pause here because this is where most people get lost. They think batteries are just chemistry. They're not. A battery pack is a system. Cells become modules. Modules become packs. Packs become part of the vehicle's skeleton. Change one layer and the entire car changes with it. That's why Tesla can talk about range, charging, safety, and cost at the same time. Because they're not tweaking one variable. They're redesigning the whole machine. And here's the twist most people miss. Tesla isn't even betting on one type of battery. They use cheaper, ultra-stable chemistries where cost matters, higher energy chemistries where performance matters. And they're quietly positioning themselves for what comes next. Anode-free concepts, lithium metal paths, not ready today, but very real. This isn't about a single breakthrough moment, it's about compounding advantages. And once you see that, you realize something uncomfortable. The real battery revolution doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly when the cars suddenly get cheaper, better, and harder to compete with. And that's exactly what's starting to happen. But the most dangerous part of the story, the part that could reshape the entire EV market, is still ahead. And you probably haven't heard anyone explain it properly yet. You hear 4,680 and it sounds like a spec sheet detail, a number, a footnote. But that number quietly rewires how an electric car is built. 4,680 means 46 millimeters wide, 80 millimeters tall, bigger than Tesla's old cells. And that size change doesn't stay contained. It cascades: more energy per cell, less metal casing per unit of energy, fewer welds, fewer electrical connections. And every weld you delete is one less failure point, one less bottleneck, one less cost multiplier. This is where most people stop and miss the real trick. Because Tesla didn't just make the cell bigger, they changed how electricity enters and leaves the cell. Traditional cylindrical batteries rely on tabs, thin little metal choke points. Fine at low stress, terrible under extreme load. You floor it, you fast charge, Those tabs heat up, resistance spikes, efficiency drops. Tesla looked at that and said, delete the bottleneck tabs. Instead of forcing current through a single exit, they spread it around the entire circumference. Shorter paths, lower resistance, less heat. That's not a headline-friendly breakthrough, but it's the kind that survives real-world abuse. Hard launches, repeated fast charging, heavy vehicles. And suddenly scaling a larger cell doesn't mean overheating hell. That's where the real advantage is forming quietly, relentlessly. And the scariest part, none of this requires a miracle, it just requires time. And Tesla is betting they have more of that than anyone else. Now zoom out, because this isn't a solo race. Tesla isn't building batteries in a vacuum. They're in an arms race. China is scaling LFP at terrifying volume. Structural pack-like designs, relentless cost pressure. Suppliers like Panasonic are pushing the frontier. Anode-free lithium metal, next-generation density. Other automakers are choosing different weapons. Prismatic cells, pouch cells, blade-style designs that squeeze space and tame heat. And when engineers tear these packs apart side by side, you see the truth. Every design is a trade-off. Losses here, volume utilization there, thermal behavior somewhere else. There is no best battery. There are only batteries optimized for a specific ecosystem. And that's Tesla's bet. Not that their cell is perfect, but that their integration is. Cell, pack, vehicle structure, factory, one system, compounding advantages. If you want to know whether this actually works, stop watching hype, watch signals. Between now and 2028, only a few things matter. First, dry electrode ramp. Not promises, numbers. Throughput up, scrap down, yield stable. That's the hardest test. Second, 4,680 expansion. Does it stay niche, or does it spread across platforms once cost and output unlock? Third, where cells are built. Germany, the US, local production despite higher costs. That tells you Tesla is optimizing for control, not just margin. Panasonic's anode-free roadmap isn't marketing, it's a clock. If it slips, you'll know. If it hits, you'll see it ripple through the industry. This is how professionals track revolutions. Not by watching launches, by watching factories. And here's why this matters. Even if you hate Tesla, batteries decide EV affordability. They decide grid storage. They decide how fast the world electrifies. If dry electrode manufacturing scales, the effects don't stop at one brand. Factories shrink, energy use drops, constraints loosen, competition stops being about chemistry. It becomes about execution, process engineering, supply chains, industrial discipline. That's the real battlefield. So let's end clean. Tesla's battery story is revolutionary where it counts. Scale, cost, integration. And not revolutionary where the internet wants it to be. No magic chemistry, no instant miracles, no free energy, just relentless systems engineering. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Because revolutions like this don't arrive loudly. They arrive quietly, then suddenly everywhere.